Welcome to The Engaging Life, a podcast about using engagement equity to improve your relationship building skills in your personal and professional life. And now, here are your hosts, Brandon Suba and Angela Cheney.
Hey, Angela.
Hey, Brandon.
Here in the studio
Yes, we are.
with the Engaging Life podcast. Check us out on YouTube if you want to see the new studio. We're like, 6 episodes in with the new studio?
We're more than 6. We're on step 6.
No, I know, but we didn't have the new backdrop and everything.
Oh, the new backdrop.
I'm talking studio here.
Gotcha,
So
gotcha, yes.
if you want to see what the hip and cool team here looks like on the Engaging Life, then
It's very, very impressive. Our team did a great job.
I agree. Oh no, I actually on LinkedIn, the little snip that you put out there really caught my eye.
Mm-hmm.
It really did. So it's fun. It's fun. We're having a good time here as we're going through the customer journey
Yes.
with Angela, and then I'm kind of paralleling that with just some hard contact networking group things that I've learned over the many, many years of enjoying hard contact groups, because there's great value to them. And if you do it right, do it well, you can make some friends and maybe make a couple sales too.
And define, just in case people don't know, what
Hard
a hard
contact.
contact group is.
So if you join a group and they consistently meet and you are the only profession that can be, or you're the only person that can represent a profession. So if there's a real estate agent in the group, a real estate agent cannot join.
Okay.
So that's why we call it the hard contact, because it's locked.
Okay.
More of a soft contact is going to be, and I have huge issues against this, but I've been in one, is the soft contact, where you can have as many of one profession in there, but yet they still try to run it like a hard contact group.
Okay.
Because again, I was in a group actually representing Pixel Fire back in the day, and there were 3 mortgage lenders, and they all had maybe a unique piece, but at the end of the day, they all wanted to lend and do deals. So when they would go around the room, you wouldn't want to be the last person, because then it's like, well, everything they said,
Right.
but use me instead, right?
Right.
So, but they do exist. But then, of course, your more general networking groups, where I don't think they should have individual speakers or people speaking. It's just more a get together, and that's more of your soft contact
Like
groups.
a Rotary. Like what I'm in.
Correct. Right.
Community
Yep.
service.
Yep. So you can have leadership. There can be others in your positions, but you can still stand out doing other things. And what I love with Rotary, Optimus, all those is, and if you're in them long enough and you participate, you will never have the opportunity to ask for a sale, but you will make sales within that group.
Absolutely.
It's the whole visibility, credibility thing, and you're not doing it in such a controlled form. But again, you join the group that you have beliefs in.
Yeah.
Right. And then you get to support that on top of getting to know everybody.
Yes.
So what we're going to talk about today, and I got to travel multiple states, and Sioux Falls by far was the most opposite of all the other groups. And what I mean by that is, so we're going to talk about contact spheres and power teams, but some point in their journey, they flip-flop those.
Okay.
So when I would give presentations or have questions, when people asked about power teams, and I probably wasn't great at the beginning of this, but I got better at it, I would have to correct them. And then the same person wouldn't correct themselves 2 months later. I'm like, okay, now, which one are you talking about? Really, though, because if you complain about a contact sphere, there's really not much you can do. And I'll define them here in a second. But if you complain about a power team, there are things that you can do.
Okay.
And we'll talk about those different things today, because they're very, very different. Okay, so let's dig into it here. So a contact sphere are the general professions that can work together on a referral. I always use the real estate one because it's the easiest. If you have somebody looking to buy a home, you've got a mortgage lender for pre-approval, you got a real estate agent to work on the house, you got a home inspector when they find a home and they want to inspect it, you've got a roofer, you've got a window,
Title
they
company.
can fix those things. Title company. I don't see them much. When they made the rule you can't pick your title companies, they fell out of the hard contact groups. A title company can sign up with a bank, but a lender cannot pick a title company. You have to use a third party. It's because of 2008. because title companies are like, hey, give me $300 and we'll do this deal for you. So they've eliminated that. They've eliminated that. But okay, so that's a contact sphere.
Okay.
You can grow these to multiple sizes depending on the profession. What is the wedding mafia is another one, the photographer, the event space, all those, right? These naturally happen in groups because these people want to have the context. They want to have the referral opportunity. And it just so happens if you play the VCP game correctly, if you have the credibility with them, they will use you.
Right.
And consistently, because if you do a great job, man, you've just made their life easier and you can hold it accountable. You're going to see them all the time. So that's a contact sphere. Every group, no matter what size, generally will have a contact sphere or two or three or four. A power team are going to be people, and I start with two. They're going to be two people that have made a commitment to each other that they will work on each other's behalf for their business.
Okay.
And you can't expect someone to do that in just a normal contact sphere. If I'm a very busy real estate agent, I'm not going to take the time to go promote you as a lender.
Right.
I'll refer you, but I'm not going to go much further than that. Okay? So with contact spheres, really, here's what you can expect with them. You are going to get frequent referrals because they are in front of people that need your service. And again, it's just easy for me to say, oh yeah, Angela does all my marketing. She takes care of all my clients. Let's get you connected. Okay? And pretty easy handoff, pretty easy referrals, and there's consistency there. You can have great conversations with these people. One-to-ones are going to be very enjoyable because I know your industry, you know my industry. We've got war stories and all of that and customer experiences. So one-to-ones are enjoyable, but not necessarily needed frequently.
Okay.
Because again,
you already know.
You do. And and I know more about the business, and if there's a refinance boom, I don't need to meet with the lender.
Because you know.
Yeah, I know. I'm just going to send people your way because we've established that connection. So you don't have to have them as frequently. And then, and I love this, is they can answer questions to a referral on your behalf.
Okay.
Because again, generally
they
we know.
are kind of in the same industry.
Or as the other side, you have a great resource, right? And be very careful of the line. And I think we talked about this on a very old episode, but you need to be very careful on using someone in your group as a resource and then using someone else to actually close the deal.
Oh, yes, definitely.
The worst, having a friend show you houses and then buy with another real estate agent. Like that's just, I'll be honest, that's garbage. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But in your contact sphere, you have a great resource, and I can come to you and say, okay, Angela, here's the situation. I got this a lot with mortgage. Here's what they told us about the financial, and he was unemployed for 6 months. What are the rules? Well, in my contact sphere, I mean, generally I love sharing knowledge, but in my contact sphere, I love to share that information because we've been working together. We've had results together. So you just have a good opportunity of a resource versus, I don't know, I think it can come off bad sometimes if you go to somebody and start asking them all these questions that you need to know for your sale.
Yeah.
But it's using their time for the knowledge.
Yeah.
And most people will share. But again, if you're doing this consistently every week, contact sphere, they're probably cool with it. Random person you're calling is eventually going to be like, look, man, just send me the client. Like,
exactly.
Let me do it.
Because it can look like you're trying to DIY it.
Correct.
Let me get enough information so that I can do it on my own or they can do it on their own.
Shoot, you get this all the time then, don't you? Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about it. Hey, one more Facebook question.
Yeah.
Or what is, I got this far.
The way our business is now, it's much less of an issue than it used to be because if it is something they can do on their own, we'd rather they do it on their own.
Yep.
We don't want that client. We don't want that client because normally they're very small. They do not need a marketing company like us.
Right. The cost does not offset the results.
Right.
Because of, no. Okay, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
So again, you always have contact spheres within your group. It's good to identify them. It is good to maybe bring everyone together and say, hey, maybe we can all agree that we want to work together. But what I saw in most of my experiences, they existed and they functioned, but there wasn't much more to that. They functioned by default, not by design.
So if you are in a hard contact group, you've developed a sphere. and you've just been kind of brought into it. It fits and everything. But one of the people in that sphere, you have somebody else either in your family, in a different group that you're giving referrals to, rather than the person in your sphere.
Yep.
What is the etiquette in that situation?
I've been in this situation. I believe truth is important, and I'm a firm believer in the win, right? So, my mom's a real estate agent, has been forever. She's helped all my friends. Mm-hmm. Great. I wouldn't want to take that business from your mom because it's your mom.
Right.
But when
your mom dies,
you guys have a problem. When she passes, when she retires. Maybe we should go with retire instead of dying. That was a big jump.
When your mom dies.
Or when, and this happens too, she can't take on a client, then you have me as an opportunity. And again, in a contact sphere, that's going to happen. You need to be prepared for that conversation because, and I've said this a million times, just because you paid your dues does not mean I need to use you as a referral partner.
And it's true a lot of the times too, if you ask enough questions and you get curious instead of, because some people just get pissed.
Yes.
I know that Angela gives all of her bloobity blah to blobbity blue and they get pissed. And so a perfect example, I'm married to a financial planner.
Yes.
And so if I get approached by a financial planner and they want to either sell me something or want to be in my center of excellency or whatever we're calling it, I am very forthcoming with, just so you know, I'm married to a financial planner. You will never get my business.
Correct.
But if they are curious enough and if they don't just shut down, that's kind of my litmus test. If you shut down after I tell them, you're never going to get my family's business. Because I am married to a financial planner.
Yep.
If they shut down and go away, fine. If they're curious, where does he work? What type of clients does he work with? Todd can only work with a certain number of clients that are usually in a certain industry and have a certain amount of money. So I would say he can only work with 5% of the population. So if somebody is curious and respectful and ask a lot of questions, I could very easily develop another referral source that not only would I give things to, but you got a financial planner who's got to turn down 90% of business.
Yeah.
That's a golden opportunity that nobody as of yet, hopefully a financial planner is listening to this, has taken advantage of.
Yeah. There was another example. There was a concrete company that was in a group, and it got to the point that the sales guy couldn't sell certain size jobs because they were too small.
Sure.
And the owner's like, it's not even going to pay for the gas
pass
in the
them
truck.
off.
And so he came to me after a meeting one time and he was like, hey man, this was thrown at me and I'm really kind of distraught. Like, what do I do now? Because here I can ask for a specific referral, but what do I do? And the great ideas don't always come, but this one did. I said, well, do you know a smaller company that couldn't take on some of the jobs that you guys can because you own your equipment? Oh, yeah, I know those guys. I go, have you ever given them business? Yeah. Because that line right there, people are either going to have the aha moment or they're going to be stubborn and say, never. Right. I would never give business.
Which is terrible on two ends because, number one, it's an opportunity to give and develop a relationship within the industry. But the other big thing is if somebody gave me, say somebody gave me a referral for a one-man shop who wanted a $500 website or something like that.
Right.
And if I say, yeah, that's way below my pay grade, I'm going to look like an asshole, even if I don't say it that assholey. If I'm like, no, not the referral for us.
Right.
Number one, I've come off as a jerk. Number two, I've lost the opportunity to work with them. And number three, I have lost the opportunity to give to someone I trust.
That's right.
So the best thing you could do there is, hey, that doesn't fit in with what we do, but I've got a great partner that we work with that loves the $500 site. She'll take great care of you.
Yep.
And so now you've made everybody happy.
Well, and that example is what kind of opened up my mind more to having a business represented in more than one group. Now, if you're a one-person show, I don't feel you should be in more than one group.
No.
Personally. Now you can be in different organizations, but if I'm sitting here and telling you, oh, you are my marketing person, we're in this group together, and then on Tuesdays I have another marketing person. Right. I don't like that. But and Pixelfire does a great job. You guys spread out.
Yes.
You're like, okay, well, Angela, you're gonna do this one, Dan, you're gonna do this one, and so on. So that's where I think it's great because the person in my group might be the $500 websites.
Right.
And so not only can you refer them, but you're referring them through a trusted hard contact group that, we know them well. We've actually worked with them.
Because that's your reputation on the line.
It is.
If you're passing on both sides, that person needs to do good work and you're not passing them a jerk.
Right.
On both sides, your reputation is on the line. So rather than reject it, or give it to somebody you don't know.
And see, that's a big one.
Both of those can hurt your reputation.
They can.
So it's definitely in your best interest to develop. We do that with video.
Industry. Yep.
We can do this amount of video. If you want anything better than that, let me give you to Mo Valley because they do great work.
And it's what they specialize
and everybody's happy.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So contact spheres. So we touched on power teams. So a power team is the commitment of 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 people. And the reason that we keep that number so low is because do you really think that you're going to get 3 other members to meet with you weekly? Set goals. Go actively find referrals for you.
Yeah.
Like, these are the things that people don't realize. If you want a true power team, here's what you're going to do. Number 1, you are going to set goals together.
Yes.
And they're going to be arbitrary. I'm going to get you 2 referrals a week and you get me 2 referrals a
That's
week.
not arbitrary.
Well, isn't it just 2? I mean, it's just 2.
Arbitrary is I'll get you some referrals.
Oh, shoot. I've been using that word wrong for a long time.
Specific.
Well,
I'll get you 2 would be specific.
Okay. So, well, what if there's... Okay. Not important. We're not going to learn what arbitrary means today. You all can Google it. You're the wordsmith, so you're probably right. No, you're fine. Okay. So... we're going to say, I'm going to get you 2 referrals and you're going to get me 2 referrals. Now, yes, it's great to have goals, but a SMART goal, you have to have like an achievement plan or whatever. I don't know what the SMART stands for off the top of my head. So that means we're going to meet more frequently. And I mean, really, if you track your one-to-ones, your power teams are going to be knocking it out of the park because they're going to be putting 1, 2 in a week because they're not just meeting. I hate the one-to-one. Oh yeah, I saw you at the bar. We had a drink together. One-to-one.
Right.
You're just checking a box.
Or you're at a different networking event and 5 people in your group are there. So you turn in 5 one-to-ones.
Yes. Since digital has happened, it's a lot harder to do that.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate. Okay. So anyways, but they're going to be meeting and they're going to be strategizing because you can't guarantee 2 referrals or reach that goal without me helping you.
Nope.
And vice versa. So you're going to meet more frequently. It's usually once a week or so. And these are strategic plannings. And it is, okay, I failed last week on my goal. Here's
there are
why.
Expectations.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And you need to meet
quantifiable
those expectations. I don't even know what arbitrary meant. I don't think quantifiable is a good word to be using around me.
I could come up with some bigger ones.
Quantum leap. No, let's keep it to 5 or 5 letters or less will be cool. Go ahead. You got it.
Oh, I was going to say that this might have actually dovetailed a little bit better with the next 2 steps of the CVJ.
Oh, really?
Because this is what you're trying to get your clients to ultimately do.
Be your power team, right?
To be your power team and go out and sell for you, yes.
Well, I'm teeing you up.
Perfect.
Teeing you up, okay?
Perfect.
So you're meeting more frequently and you're setting goals. This is going to lead to something really cool, and I've got a good story for this one, is you will go on sales calls together.
Oh, fantastic.
And I loved throwing that out at trainings with new members into the groups because they would just be like, I would never do that. Like, what the heck are you talking about? So when I was selling countertops, we had a plumber in our group. It was very short-lived, great guy. I actually still, unfortunately,
like he died?
No, he left the group because he got too busy. I kept using him a little bit after that too because he knew what I needed.
Sure.
It was awesome. But I had an appointment set up and I was able to talk to them before. I was just knocking on their door and they told me, oh yeah, we've got like 5 bathrooms and we're really thinking if we can just do this in one big swoop, this will be a huge advantage. And so I said to them while I'm working with them in the showroom, I said, would you be okay if this time works, if I bring a plumber with me, he can actually go over all of this stuff because I know so much about plumbing, but he could orchestrate it.
Yeah.
And then that way, you've got the full ready to go. And I'll tell you what, I'll even make sure that he can give you a price when I give mine.
Yeah.
They're like, sure. So it worked out. He went with me. He was there for 10 minutes. 10 minutes, explained exactly how it was going to happen. He was ready to bid it, so he bid it, left the bid with me so I could present it at the end. And guess what?
They did it.
He got the job.
Nice.
I did not. No, I'm just joking.
Oh,
I did. No, I did get the job. I did. No.
Wah, wah.
And to me, it was like I was that general contractor.
Oh, absolutely.
So I literally brought another member from my group on a sales call with me. Now, you have to set it up right. No customer wants to be blindsided with 10 people.
No, you got to clear it.
Correct. And get it the okay. But I did. And so that's where I was like, oh my gosh.
And that's, if you do it right, what a benefit to the person you're selling, because especially like home renovation, oh God, I have to do this. And what if this dovetails with that? And that person's got to, what if they don't talk to each other? What if work gets done? I mean,
and this happens all the time. They can't coordinate together because you just pick 7 random people and now you want me to work with them.
And now you have a bathroom that's going to be unfinished for 4 months while you're waiting for it. Yeah.
Yep. So going on sales calls together, again, a power team, you're going to look, well, I guess I should add this. It's not on the list. But you should look at each other's books, schedules.
Okay.
Right?
Oh,
so what appointments are you going to in the next few weeks?
That would be good for me.
Yeah. Oh,
There's an opportunity.
Here's there. So that's, and again, you can't have that expectation of somebody in just a contact sphere because you don't have what am I thinking here? You don't have the expectation set.
Right.
So I can't be like, hey, Angela, let me see your next few weeks. I think I can probably help.
Right.
Now it looks
it's
like you're
different,
greasy poaching.
It's a different vibe.
Correct. But that is another thing is you look forward to appointments and you see how each other can work together.
Yeah.
And then the last one I have is you market together. And where I think I always say this is the last step is because we're committing to the goals. We're reaching these goals. We're working together really well. I'm ready to financially invest with you.
Oh, okay.
Because if it's a $500 ad and I'm going to do $250 and you're going to do $250, but we're going to have both logos on there, I pray you like that person.
Yes.
Because
that's a commitment.
It is. It is. And it's a financial commitment.
And it's a reputation commitment.
It is.
Because you are going to be associated with that business forevermore.
And I have seen the bad of that, where a group stood up and they said, we're all working together. Now, if you send a client, it's boom, boom, boom. And about 3 months later,
it all
2
fell
of
apart.
them won't even talk to each other. And I was like, gosh, it sounded great at first. And to me, as I reflected upon, gosh, what happened here? They wanted to be a power team, but they didn't do the work.
Oh, okay. So they jumped the gun.
They did. They were a contact sphere that decided we're pretty exclusive.
They got married after 2 weeks of dating.
Correct. And they never bought a ring, nor did they have the ceremony.
Yeah.
So one jumped out as fast as they could.
Yeah.
So that's where, if you have the mindset of creating a power team, and if I've never seen more than 3 successfully do this.
Okay.
I think a power team of 5 would be nuts. Because if you consider everyone committed to bringing you a referral.
I would say, so I have seen them, but I think they were spheres of influence that were calling themselves power teams.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's all Sioux Falls was. And that's why it was hard for me to do education up there. Because I'm like, now
this
remember.
Isn't really
I had to define
team.
it every time. It's basically how I felt I had
You're just
to.
like, center of influence.
Siwag, you're right. But this is where I really want you to consider in these hard context groups, who is somebody that could be a power team partner for you? Because how cool is it that you're listening to the Engaging Life podcast and you take this idea, you take it to the person you're thinking of and you say, hey, this is going to sound crazy, but what if we did these things?
Yeah.
And if the other
Call
person...
me maybe.
Call me maybe. And if the other person committed to that, now they're taking their referral group that they just showed up to, and actually getting results from it.
So I have a question.
Oh, yes.
How long, in general, do you think you need to know someone in a business sense before? And I understand that it's going to be different for everyone.
Sure.
So an example for me, I'm generally a very good judge of character.
Okay.
I can usually spot right out of the gates, not so much, don't want to. but I have been wrong. And this was just a recent occurrence. Somebody that I completely, and even told my husband, I 100% trust this person. And everything I had seen added up.
Of course.
You know, I'm like, I 100% trust this person and shouldn't have. You know, one tiny little thing happened and then all of a sudden it was just cut off. And it was like, well, I'd known and worked with this person for 2 years.
Wow.
And I know sometimes you can't know, you know, but is there kind of a rule of thumb? You should have known this person, done business with them, given referrals for X amount of time before you jump into that power team.
Okay. So just as the customer journey has steps, I would say the VCP is very important to answer that question.
Okay.
Because if they're putting in the work to be visible and they're at the meetings, that's gonna be another deposit of trust for me, right? Credibility, if they're gaining the credibility. And I think that's where this person you're talking about failed, right? Because you've known them forever, you trusted them, everything's up to snuff. But when it finally came down to like a true credibility situation, they let you down, is what I'm hearing, right? So I think as you go through the VCP process, and credibility, as you said, it can be long, short, it depends. But I would say a year. Like if I had to put, I don't want to say an arbitrary number on it, but if I had to put a number on it.
That is correct.
That one is. Hey, I do kind of know what it means. But I would say a year. And here's why. Most memberships in these groups are a year.
Correct.
And I don't want to go through all this effort to create a power team to have them leave the group. Yeah. Because their expectation may be, hey, I'm not doing the group anymore, but we're still doing it, right?
So you would say you've been together a year, everything has been great. They've done everything with the VCP. They re-sign, and that's when you. Yeah. Because you know they're in for another year at least.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
That makes sense.
And because I feel a big piece of these contact networks is you can hold someone accountable because you will see them every week.
Exactly.
And if they're not showing up, then they're not even reaching the visibility stage. So obviously you shouldn't be using them. Right. And I know this sounds harsh, but I've experienced it and I've seen it.
I mean, it's just real. Yeah.
But that's where if they sign up for that next year, then it could be hey, so you made this commitment. Want to make one more? Yeah. Because I'm ready to make a commitment with you.
And if they've made the commitment to a second year, they find value. The two of you probably get along. Otherwise, you would not be approaching them if you hated each other. They've already made the monetary commitment. They want to maximize their results.
Yep.
Perfect time to ask.
And if they're like, well, gosh, man, we could do this. Why do we need the group? Here's another cool thing about power teams. You are going to create more referrals for the group because you're collaborating. So now this client that I wasn't going to take him down this journey, but with my power team partner, we actually did. Oh, shoot. Now you do need a trust. Now you do need to plan your funeral. So now you have other referrals for the group. Because one thing, this is from an advanced training I did, and one thing people would say is, well, why do those two have to be so fancy then? Right? Like, doesn't a power team hurt groups? Because now they're just on their own little island. Yeah. And I'm like, no, I don't think you're hearing. You still have your contact spheres and you still have your group.
And they're not leaving anyone out because there's only the one person in that. Correct.
And it's their time. What are you mad that they're giving more time to each other? Maybe you should go find a power team friend.
Yeah, exactly. Got some
but again,
self-esteem issues.
And just as we talk about, you don't want to jump into a relationship with a client and things like that without, you don't want to ask someone to marry you on the first date.
Right.
It's absolutely the same in these groups. And that's why I really tried to stress to new members in the new member training, again, just because you're in a group together does not mean you need to use them.
You have earned the right to be around that person once a week.
And you've
that is all you have earned.
Right. And
you have paid for the right to be around that person once a week.
And your reputation matters. So I always hated the new members, and I think they were very cheap, somewhat crappy referrals. But the new members, and they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I have 3 referrals today because you asked for this person, and I know him, and you asked for this." And I don't think,
and his name is John, and there's my referral.
Yeah, and I don't think usually they make the connection anyways. Like it doesn't pan out unless you have a strong member that holds them accountable. But I hated seeing that because I'm like, hey. What if
they
suck? Like, was that a little bit? What? Oh, shoot. There's a name that I have for that voice, and I can't think of it all of a sudden. It's not Stan. And maybe it is Stanley. I'm Stanley. Anyways, come and hang out at my house. It's very entertaining. But what if the person in your group is a piece of trash and you just now referred them to your best client?
Yeah. It can ruin a relationship.
It
can ruin a career.
Yes. I was going to say it could ruin a sale, but a career, big time.
Yeah.
Big time. Yep. So giving time. And again, a power team is a huge commitment. Like I've never taken on a power team because great. The plumber and I, guess what? He didn't want to meet every week. He didn't give a crap about goals. He was never talking about countertops.
The plumber didn't give a crap.
I didn't even realize I was
not even trying there.
Bam, bam. So again, you have your contact spheres. It's good to identify them, and it is good to build strong relationships with them because they aren't fun. Yeah. But if you want to go to the next step and you think that there's someone else in your group and you two feel that we could do more, right? Then take on the power team and have meetings, set an agenda, set expectations, and set goals. And if 1 month you hit all those, I think you can blow that up.
Absolutely.
You can blow that up. So any final thoughts?
No, I like what you did there.
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks. Whale-tailed it for, dovetailed it. Dovetailed it.
Isn't whale tail like when large women wear thongs that stick out of their pants?
Well, I guess that is one whale tail. That's not the one I was thinking of, but
okay.
There we go. Now we have to put an E for explicit.
Uh-huh.
Okay, like I said, check out the YouTube channel. Share this. Hey, this is a good one. Well, I mean, they're all good, but this is a good one that you can share. If you want someone to join a power team with you, maybe they can listen to this podcast. But like I said, take these ideas, present it as your own, and really build up somebody else's business.
Fantastic.
All righty. Well, thank you for your time today and listening or watching, and we will talk to you on the next podcast.